Hey everybody, welcome to Holy Chat.
Holy chat.
I'm Levi,
I'm Carlos.
and we are in the midst of a very relaxed conversation about
Yes.
white Christian nationalism.
Nothing
Why
heavy.
not? I mean, it's July, it's hot outside. We thought we would talk about it, and we're in the second in the series
Second
talking about
installment.
this. So go back if you didn't hear the 1st one
Mhm.
and listen to the overview where we started defining what it is and some of the history behind it. So today we're going to dig in a little more to kind of the spiritual side of why we see some problems with Christian nationalism.
Yes. What is the problem with Christian nationalism?
Well, one of the things that bothers me the most, it concerns me as a pastor, and I think maybe rabbis, imams, lots of priests from other traditions would feel this way, is that one of the things Christian nationalism does is it requires you to obey outwardly something and is less concerned with your inward transformation. So, for example, Christian nationalism wants to sort of assert that you behave a certain way.
Right.
So they'll pass certain laws that are quote unquote Christian in nature, but there are lots of different faith traditions and people of no faith at all in the country that then are sort of forced to obey those values, but there's no concern about their inner heart or the inner transformation.
Right.
And in the Christian tradition, we really focus on people being changed from the inside out, not the outside in. So for me, that's a real contradiction.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Before we move on, are we still? It's not blinking.
Eventually.
Okay. Certainly. No. Yeah. Yes. I think you're right. I think that it is a bit vexing and maybe scary a little to think that somebody in power or somebody who can dictate laws enforces something that it is outward into the life of somebody who, as you said, may not be Christian or have no faith at all, or again expressive faith, or that we will talk later on a different understanding of Christianity altogether. But I think you have an example of of an external what is happening.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And as you were talking, another one popped into my head too. I have like an old example and a recent example. We talked in the last episode about how Emperor Constantine made it the official religion,
Right.
Christianity, the
Yes.
official religion of the Roman Empire in many ways. Well, actually, he sort of sanctioned it, but then his, I think, grandson or something made it official. At that point, everybody that was born just got baptized no matter what, and then was just sort of in the club,
Right.
And there wasn't a lot of focus on the rest of the faith journey. Right. It was just that outward obedience, right? This is what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3,
Right.
which didn't really produce, people who deeply loved the
Correct.
poor, loved the marginalized.
Right.
That was a rarity. That was more the desert monks or monasteries that were focused on that.
Right, and that is what happens. That's the reaction of Christianity.
Yeah.
That because
Yeah.
they said that the narrow gate has become this huge, wide open door. Many people fled to the desert, and that's when monasticism, monks, really took off because they said, "No, this is wrong," and so
Yeah.
they went on to have their
To have an
version-
inward transformation, and a
transformation,
life with
yes.
Jesus
Yeah.
instead of just checking the boxes outwardly of Christianity.
Correct.
And so more recently, we've seen this effort in a lot of states, for example, to compel classrooms to have a Bible or multiple Bibles in the classrooms, or to have the 10 Commandments posted in the classrooms. And again, I have no problem with the 10 Commandments. It's part of my faith journey and my faith tradition. It's part of the Bible that we read and we preach all the time. But the idea that then we're going to compel entire classrooms of kids to read this and not read other faith traditions is a specific kind of outward requirement that is concerning.
And again, it is what the definition of that Christian nationalism. It is that that the one stands above everybody else, and this is the standard. This is the default. This is what we start from, and obviously the other ones we don't care because, well, maybe they're wrong or whatever it is that they think, or in these cases, yes. So it's an outward imposition of one's preferred point of view in this case of Christianity. And as you said, maybe we don't have much. I do have we both have a aversion to it, not necessarily as you said, because our Judeo-Christian tradition is not about that. It is about, even within Christianity, there are flavors of Christianity. There is not one, just we all do the same and we all worship the same and we all believe in the same.
Right.
I think that there's all these topographical things that makes Christianity different. And so to me as a pastor and as a person of faith, I find it tremendously offensive, the imposition of a particular, very particular flavor, point of view of Christianity upon the rest of us.
Yeah.
That does not, in any case, denotes who I am or how I express my faith in Jesus Christ.
Well, I think that's important to point out. Christian nationalism is not Christianity.
No.
And one of the ways you can know that is by this move to put the Ten Commandments in the classroom, because Christians believe Jesus is the primary interpreter of the faith, and Jesus told us there were two greatest commands.
Yes.
And maybe technically one of them could be one of the Ten Commandments, but not really, because Jesus pulled both those greatest commands from the book of Leviticus, from a whole different book of the Bible. So if our Lord Jesus Christ gives us two great commands to love God and love one another, but the Christian nationalist movement wants to put the Ten Commandments in, it's not really Christian fundamentally.
Right.
It's kind of a perversion of it that's more about the outward obedience, not the inward transformation. And I want to be careful, because the Ten Commandments are held dear to many Christians and to the Jewish faith as well. And I'm not denigrating them at all.
No.
But it's important to point out Jesus, as the ultimate rabbi in the Christian tradition, points out two great commands that both have the word love in it. And weirdly, the nationalist movement isn't comfortable with that word love.
Well, and again, then why these 10 commandments and not why other commandments?
The other 603.
Right. I mean,
in the Torah.
Right. I mean, or exactly. Why these? Why these 10 or not the other ones? And why not? Because there is plenty of in the Hebrew scriptures. What we call the Old Testament, plenty of evidence of commandments of taking care of the orphan, the widow, and the immigrant.
Yep.
And that is not in
lots and lots of exhortations to care for the foreigner, like you said, the widows, the orphans.
Yeah, always comes in three: the orphan, the widow, and the immigrant, or the stranger, or the sojourner. And why? Because you were a stranger, you were an immigrant in the land, so you take care of them. So I mean, there's again,
how do you pick?
Exactly,
and that's your point, right? The different faith traditions within Christianity emphasize and prioritize different commandments.
Sure.
And in our faith tradition, I think we really prioritize justice and love are big things for us, because we see those predominate in the Bible. We see a lot of commands around taking care of the least of these, and really not that many commands about things like how we dress, or tattoos. I broke that rule. There's just lots of those that they aren't really talked about as much.
Right.
They're not emphasized as much. They might be in a book of the Bible or two books, but then there are some things that are in every book of the Bible, like issues of justice.
Yes.
And so for some traditions, like the UMC, we lift up issues of justice a lot. Other traditions focus on personal purity and personal salvation more. And so which flavor is Christian nationalism going with? In my opinion, none of them. It's more of a cherry-picked random,
it's their
what's
own
going to get
thing.
people excited and
Exactly,
angry
it's their
kind of
own
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, as I say in the previous podcast that we had in the previous episode, it is Christian nationalism. It's not so much to me, and even to the persons who were talking, and you can see it in the lower thirds what I'm talking about, and so remind you which podcast I'm reading or listening to. You can listen and make your own conclusion. But this person is saying it's not expression of faith. It's more of it's an ideology, and it is not necessarily or at all an expression of faith. And I think I'm more with that
Yeah.
it is, and we were going to talk too about also being very empathetic and humble in this way, because people may see this as a true expression of faith, right? And that could be our neighbor, could be our mom or dad, our our siblings or our in-laws, people that we worship together in church. When they go to our classmates or whoever it is, our neighbors. So it's not really demonizing anybody. It is just raising the alarm. Or
Well, I would say we
Anyway.
are criticizing Christian nationalism,
Yes.
but not individual people
exactly.
who think that way, because honestly, it is widely available in the YouTube algorithms and the social media algorithms. It is really pushed out there in a very active way, and it's understandable that someone could get pulled into thinking that way. But we do want to raise the alarm that it's an unhealthy and dangerous impersonation of Christianity. It's not anything that resembles what any kind of Orthodox Christian movement would
Correct.
approach.
No, it is right. It is a challenging. It presents a lot of challenges. It's very problematic. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And let's start from there.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think, in our next episode, we'll talk more about how it's applied in the real world. And then we'll also kind of talk about how we interact with those who adhere to that ideology. If you have a neighbor, a friend, a family member who's thinking this way, or you're thinking this way, we can talk about ways to work through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, and I think that was a good, solid episode. So, signing off.
We have to end with
30-second dance party.